Israel says, hi, I'm in the business loan niche, which is pretty competitive. I have 2 questions. I learned network syndication from Peter Garety. That's funny. Yeah, Peter Garety was a mentor of mine many years ago. That's interesting. Back then, we built one branded network and then a network for each primary keyword. Yeah, they called those TGNs, traffic generation networks. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Israel. The primary keyword network got very SEO optimized stuff. The branded network just got normal content that was not overly optimized. Is this still relevant, or can you get away with just one branded network? Yeah, I just do one branded network now, Israel. And again, it's just because, you know, the stuff that Peter taught back then, it absolutely worked. And that's, you know, some of what Peter taught went into the development of what I came up with, which was originally called IFTTT SEO Academy. But for various reasons, we had to change the name to Syndication Academy. And so, yeah, that was one of the ingredients that I mixed in to make my recipe of Syndication Academy. And that was some of the stuff that Peter Garety taught. And it worked. I don't recommend doing that kind of stuff now, though. And the reason why is because of footprint issues, right? The footprint issues are much more, Google's much more aware of footprint issues now. It's much easier to identify footprint stuff, and Google doesn't like that. Where back, you know, several years ago, and we're talking like 2012 and 13 timeframe that Peter Garety was teaching a lot of this stuff. You know, it wasn't as much of an issue then. Okay. So that's why I say, and not only that, but you know, obviously if you've done it, how much work goes into setting up all those networks and in connecting everything all together. And I know he's got some tools that help to facilitate some of that stuff, but I found it to be overly complicated to set all that stuff up. I know because I did it for a long time, and that's why I developed my flavor or my version, which became Syndication Academy, because it was much more efficient. It was a lot less work. Does that make sense? That's the only reason. And it also, I like the fact that it didn't require a paid software or application. You just used IFTTT, which was free. It wasn't resource heavy like some of the plugins that Peter Garety would use to force the syndication. IFTTT runs off RSS feeds, so it was not taxing at all to the server. So your WordPress, your website servers or hosting company. So there's a number of reasons why I developed Syndication Academy. To replace that kind of a method. Is it still relevant? Yeah, I wouldn't do that kind of stuff now just because of footprint issues. Are syndication networks still relevant? Yes, absolutely. And if you're developing decent content for your site and syndicating it out, it's going to help. You know, I don't overly optimize. I don't write content anyways. I have, you know, team that does it. But none of the content that we produce is overly optimized ever. It's more about the activity and just building up an overall relevancy factor for the website. So we don't have to uber optimize or hyper optimize any particular piece of content. It's not necessary because we're painting an overall picture about what the site is about, right? And so through multiple posts. So it's not necessary to uber optimize one particular piece of content, which we can accomplish over a series of pieces of content within a silo or whatever, however you want to do it. So again, Syndication Network, one branded Syndication Network, guys, I'm telling you, that is all I do for my clients and for my own assets. YouTube, I use multiple syndication networks, but for all the stuff that I manage, guys, one branded syndication network per asset, period. And it's so much easier to manage, guys. I'm telling you, it's so much easier to manage. If you guys want to go through all that additional work, please do. But I like to get results with the least amount of effort possible and the least amount of resources. And one branded syndication network is all I do for all my clients now, and have for the last several years now. Okay. You can power up. By the way, Israel, you can do a lot of things to power up that branded network, right? And there's other stuff that I recommend now that are going to help. Like Local PR Pro would help you a lot. The Local PR Pro method, using press releases consistently, would help you. I promise you that, because they're very, very powerful if you know what you're doing. Okay. Drive Stack would help you there too, by the way. There's a lot of stuff you could do.